Act 2 of The Duchess of Malfi. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org.
The Duchess of Malfi by John Webster. Act 2, Scene 1. Enter Bosola and Castruccio.
You say you would fain be taken for an eminent courtier.
'Tis the very main of my ambition.
Let me see. You have a reasonable good face for it already, and your nightcap expresses your ears sufficient largely. I would have you learn to twirl the strings of your band with a good grace, and, in a set speech, at the end of every sentence to hum 3 or 4 times, or blow your nose till it's smart again to recover your memory. When you come to be a president in criminal causes, if you smile upon a prisoner, hang him, but if you frown upon him and threaten him, let him be sure to escape the gallows.
I would be a very merry president.
Do not sup o' nights. 'Twill beget you an admirable wit.
Rather it would make me have a good stomach to quarrel, for they say your roaring boys eat meat seldom, and that makes them so valiant. But how shall I know whether the people take me for an eminent fellow?
I will teach a trick to know it. Give out you lie a-dying, and if you hear the common people curse you, be sure you are taken for one of their prime nightcaps.
Enter an old lady.
You come from painting now.
From what?
What, from your scurvy face physic. To behold thee not painted inclines somewhat near a miracle. These in thy face here were deep ruts and foul sloughs the last progress. There was a lady in France that, having had the smallpox, flayed the skin off her face to make it more level, and whereas before she looked like a nutmeg grater, after she resembled an abortive hedgehog.
Do you call this painting?
No, but you call it careening of an old morphewed lady to make her disembogue again. There's a rough-cast phrase to your plastic.
It seems you are well acquainted with my closet.
One would suspect it for a shop of witchcraft, to find in it the fat of serpents, spawn of snakes, Jews' spittle and their young children's ordure, and all of these for the face. I would sooner eat a dead pigeon taken from the soles of the feet of one sick of the plague than kiss one of you fasting. Here are 2 of you, whose sin of your youth is the very patrimony of the physician, makes him renew his footcloth with the spring, and change his high-priced courtesan with the fall of the leaf. I do wonder you do not loathe yourselves. Observe my meditation now. What thing is in this outward form of man to be beloved? We account it ominous if nature do produce a colt, or lamb, a fawn, or goat in any limb resembling a man, and fly from it as a prodigy. Man stands amazed to see his deformity in any other creature but himself. But in our own flesh, though we bear diseases which have their true names only tamed from beasts, as the most ulcerous wolf and swinish measle, though we are eaten up of lice and worms, and though continually we bear about us a rotten and dead body, we delight to hide it in rich tissue. All our fear, nay, all our terror is, lest our physician should put us in the ground to be made sweet. Your wife's gone to Rome. You 2 couple and get you to the wells at Lucca to recover your aches. I have other work on foot.
Exeunt Castruccio and old lady.
I observe our Duchess is sick a days. She pukes, her stomach seethes, the fins of her eyelids look most teeming blue, she wanes in the cheek and waxes fat in the flank, and, contrary to our Italian fashion, wears a loose-bodied gown. There's somewhat in't. I have a trick, may chance discover it. A pretty one. I have brought some apricots, the first our spring yields.
Enter Antonio and Delio, talking together, apart.
And so long since married? You amaze me.
Let me seal your lips for ever, for did I think that anything but the air could carry these words from you, I should wish you had no breath at all. Now, sir, in your contemplation, you are studying to become a great wise fellow.
Oh, sir, the opinion of wisdom is a foul tetter that runs all over a man's body. If simplicity direct us to have no evil, it directs us to a happy being. For the subtlest folly proceeds from the subtlest wisdom. Let me be simply honest.
I do understand your inside.
Do you so?
Because you would not seem to appear to the world puffed up with your preferment, you continue this out-of-fashion melancholy. Leave it, leave it.
Give me leave to be honest in any phrase, in any compliment whatsoever. Shall I confess myself to you? I look no higher than I can reach. They are the gods that must ride on winged horses. A lawyer's mule of a slow pace will both suit my disposition and business. For mark me, when a man's mind rides faster than his horse can gallop, they quickly both tire.
You would look up to heaven, but I think the devil that rules the air stands in your light.
Oh, sir, you are lord of the ascendant, chief man with the Duchess. A duke was your cousin german removed. Say you were lineally descended from King Pepin or he himself, what of this? Search the heads of the greatest rivers in the world, you shall find them but bubbles of water. Some would think the souls of princes were brought forth by more weighty cause than those of meaner persons. They're deceived. There's the same hand to them. The like passions sway them. The same reason that makes a vicar go to law for a tithe pig and undo his neighbours, makes them spoil a whole province and batter down goodly cities with the cannon.
Enter Duchess and ladies.
Oh, your arm, Antonio! Do I not grow fat? I am exceeding short-winded. Bosola, I would have you, sir, provide for me a litter, such a one as the Duchess of Florence rode in.
The Duchess used one when she was great with child.
I think she did. Come hither, mend my ruff. Here, when thou art such a tedious lady, and thy breath smells of lemon pills, would thou hadst done. Oh, shall I swoon under thy fingers? I am so troubled with the mother.
Aside.
I fear too much.
I have heard you say that the French courtiers wear their hats on for that king.
I have seen it.
In the presence?
Yes.
Why should not we bring up that fashion? 'Tis ceremony more than duty that consists in the removing of a piece of felt. Be you the example to the rest of the court. Put on your hat first.
You must pardon me. I have seen, in colder countries than in France, nobles stand bare to the prince, and the distinction, methought, showed reverently.
I have a present for your grace.
For me, sir?
Apricocks, madam.
Oh, sir, where are they? I have heard of none to year.
Aside.
Good, her colour rises.
Indeed, I thank you. They are wondrous fair ones. What an unskilful fellow is our gardener! We shall have none this month.
Will not your grace pare them?
No, they taste of musk, methinks. Indeed they do.
Oh, I know not. Yet I wish your grace had pared them.
Why?
I forgot to tell you. The knave gardener, only to raise his profit by them the sooner, did ripen them in horse-dung.
Oh, you jest. You shall judge. Pray, taste one.
Indeed, madam, I do not love the fruit.
Oh, sir, you are loath to rob us of our dainties. 'Tis a delicate fruit. They say they are restorative.
'Tis a pretty art, this grafting.
'Tis so. A bettering of nature.
To make a pippin grow upon a crab, a damson on a blackthorn.
Aside.
How greedily she eats them! A whirlwind strike off those bored farthingales! For but for that and the loose-bodied gown, I should have discovered apparently the young springle cutting a caper in her belly.
I thank you, Bosola. They were right good ones, if they do not make me sick.
How now, madam?
Oh, this green fruit and my stomach are not friends. How they swell me!
Aside.
Nay, you are much too swelled already.
Oh, I am in an extreme cold sweat.
I'm very sorry.
Exit.
Ah, lights to my chamber. Oh, good Antonio, I fear I am undone.
Lights there! Lights!
Exeunt Duchess and ladies.
Oh, my most trusty Delio, we are lost. I fear she's fallen in labour, and there's left no time for her remove.
Have you prepared those ladies to attend her, and procured that politic safe conveyance for the midwife your Duchess plotted?
I have.
Make use, then, of this forced occasion. Give out that Bosola hath poisoned her with these apricots. That will give some colour for her keeping close.
Fie, fie, the physicians will then flock to her.
For that you may pretend she'll use some prepared antidote of her own, lest the physicians should re-poison her.
I am lost in amazement. I know not what to think on't.
Exeunt. Scene 2. Enter Bosola, an old lady.
So. There's no question but her tetchiness and most vulturous eating of the apricots are apparent signs of breeding now.
I am in haste, sir.
There was a young waiting woman, had a monstrous desire to see the glass house.
Nay, pray, let me go. I will hear no more of the glass house. You are still abusing women.
Who, I? No. Only, by the way, now and then mention your frailties. The orange tree bears ripe and green fruit and blossoms all together. And some of you give entertainment for pure love, but more for more precious reward. The lusty spring smells well, but drooping autumn tastes well. If we have the same golden showers that reigned in the time of Jupiter the Thunderer, you have the same Danaes still to hold up their legs to receive 'em. Didst thou never study the mathematics?
What's that, sir?
Why, to know the trick how to make many lines meet in one centre. Go, give your foster daughters good counsel. Tell them that the devil takes delight to hang at a woman's girdle like a false rusty watch, that she cannot discern how the time passes.
Exit old lady. Enter Antonio, Rodrigo, and Griselin.
Shut up the court gates.
Why, sir, what's the danger?
Shut up the posterns presently, and call all the officers of the court.
I shall, instantly.
Exit.
Who keeps the key of the park gate?
Forabosco.
Let him bring't presently.
Re-enter Griselin with servants.
O gentlemen of the court, the foulest treason!
Aside.
If that these apricots should be poisoned now, without my knowledge.
There was taken even now a Switzer in the Duchess' bedchamber.
A Switzer?
With a pistol.
There was a cunning traitor.
And all the moulds of his buttons were leaden bullets.
Wicked cannibal.
'Twas a French plot, upon my life.
To see what the devil can do.
Are all the officers here?
We are.
Gentlemen, we have lost much plate, you know, and but this evening jewels to the value of 4,000 ducats are missing in the Duchess' cabinet. Are the gates shut?
Yes.
'Tis the Duchess' pleasure each officer be locked into his chamber till the sun rising, and to send the keys of all their chests and of their outward doors into her bedchamber. She is very sick.
At her pleasure.
She entreats you take't not ill. The innocent shall be the more approved by it.
Gentlemen of the wood-yard, where's your Switzer now?
By this hand 'twas credibly reported by one of the Black Guard.
Exeunt all except Antonio and Delio.
How fares it with the Duchess?
She's exposed unto the worst of torture, pain, and fear.
Speak to her all happy comfort.
How I do play the fool with mine own danger! You are this night, dear friend, to post to Rome. My life lies in your service.
Do not doubt me.
Oh, 'tis far from me, and yet fear presents me somewhat that looks like danger.
Believe it. 'Tis but the shadow of your fear, no more. How superstitiously we mind our evils! The throwing down salt, or crossing of a hare, bleeding at nose, the stumbling of a horse, or singing of a cricket, are of power to daunt the whole man in us. Sir, fare you well. I wish you all the joys of a blessed father, And for my faith, lay this unto your breast: old friends, like old swords, still are trusted best.
Exit. Enter Cariola.
Sir, you are the happy father of a son. Your wife commends him to you.
Blessed comfort! For heaven's sake tend her well. I'll presently go set a figure for's nativity.
Exeunt. Scene 3. Enter Bosola with a dark lantern.
Sure I did hear a woman shriek. List! Ha! And the sound came, if I received it right, from the Duchess's lodgings. There's some stratagem in the confining all our courtiers to their several wards. I must have part of it. My intelligence will freeze else. List! Again! Maybe 'twas the melancholy bird, best friend of silence and of solitariness, the owl, that screamed so. Ah! Antonio?
Enter Antonio with a candle, his sword drawn.
I heard some noise. Who's there? What art thou? Speak.
Antonio, put not your face nor body to such a forced expression of fear. I'm Bosola, your friend.
Bosola!
Aside.
This mole does undermine me. Heard you not a noise even now?
From whence?
From the Duchess' lodging.
Not I. Did you?
I did, or else I dreamed.
Let's walk towards it.
No, it may be 'twas but the rising of the wind.
Very likely. Methinks 'tis cold, and yet you sweat. You look wildly.
I have been setting a figure for the Duchess' jewels.
Oh, and how falls your question? Do you find it radical?
What's that to you? 'Tis rather to be questioned what design, when all men were commanded to their lodgings, makes you a night walker.
In sooth, I'll tell you. Now all the court's asleep, I thought the devil had least to do here. I came to say my prayers. And if it do offend you, I do so. You are a fine courtier.
Aside.
This fellow will undo me. You gave the Duchess apricots to-day. Pray heaven they were not poisoned.
Poisoned? A Spanish fig for the imputation.
Traitors are ever confident till they are discovered. There were jewels stolen too. In my conceit none are to be suspected more than yourself.
You are a false steward.
Saucy slave, I'll pull thee up by the roots.
Maybe the ruin will crush you to pieces.
You are an impudent snake indeed, sir. Are you scarce warm, and do you show your sting? You libel well, sir?
No, sir. Copy it out, and I will set my hand to it.
Aside.
My nose bleeds. One that were superstitious would count this ominous, when it merely comes by chance. 2 letters that are wrought here for my name are drowned in blood. Mere accident. For you, sir, I'll take order. I' the morn you shall be safe.
Aside.
'Tis that must colour her lying in. Sir, this door you pass not. I do not hold it fit that you come near the Duchess' lodgings till you have quit yourself.
Aside.
The great are like the base, nay, they are the same, when they seek shameful ways to avoid shame.
Exit.
Antonio hereabout did drop a paper. Some of your help, false friend. Oh, here it is. What's here? A child's nativity calculated.
Reads.
The Duchess was delivered of a son, 'tween the hours 12 and 1 in the night, anno Domini 1504. That's this year. Decimo nono Decembris. That's this night. Taken according to the meridian of Malfi. That's our Duchess. Happy discovery. The lord of the first house being combust in the ascendant signifies short life, and Mars being in a human sign joined to the tail of the dragon in the 8th house doth threaten a violent death. Cetera non scrutantur. Why, 'tis now most apparent. This precise fellow is the Duchess's bald. I have it to my wish. This is a parcel of intelligency our courtiers were cased up for. It needs must follow that I must be committed on pretence of poisoning her, which I'll endure and laugh at. If one could find the father now, but that time will discover. old Castruccio in the morning posts to Rome. By him I'll send a letter that shall make her brothers' galls o'erflow their livers. This was a thrifty way, though lust do mask in ne'er so strange disguise. She's oft found witty, but is never wise.
Exit. Scene 4. Enter Cardinal and Julia.
Sit, thou art my best of wishes. Prithee, tell me, what trick didst thou invent to come to Rome without thy husband?
Why, my lord, I told him I came to visit an old anchorite here for devotion.
Thou art a witty false one, I mean to him.
You have prevailed with me beyond my strongest thoughts. I would not now find you inconstant.
Do not put thyself to such a voluntary torture, which proceeds out of your own guilt.
How, my lord?
You fear my constancy, because you've approved those giddy and wild turnings in yourself.
Did you e'er find them?
Sooth, generally for women, a man might strive to make glass malleable ere he should make them fixed.
So, my lord.
We had need go borrow that fantastic glass invented by Galileo, the Florentine, to view another spacious world of the moon, and look to find a constant woman there.
This is very well, my lord.
Why do you weep? Are tears your justification? The self-same tears will fall into your husband's bosom, lady, with a loud protestation that you love him above the world. Come, I love you wisely. That's jealously, since I am very certain you cannot make me cuckold.
I'll go home to my husband.
You may thank me, lady. I have taken you off your melancholy perch, bore you upon my fist, and showed you game, and let you fly at it. I pray thee, kiss me. When thou wast with thy husband, thou wast watched like a tame elephant. Still, you are to thank me. Thou hadst only kisses from him, and high feeding. What delight was that? 'Twas just like one that hath a little fingering on the lute, yet cannot tune it. Still, you are to thank me.
You told me of a piteous wound to the heart, and a sick liver when you wooed me first, and spake like one in physic.
Who's that?
Enter servant.
Rest firm, for my affection to thee lightning moves slow to it.
Madam, a gentleman that's come post from Malfi desires to see you.
Let him enter. I'll withdraw.
Exit.
He says your husband, old Castruccio, is come to Rome, most pitifully tired with riding post.
Exit. Enter Delio, aside.
Signor Delio, 'tis one of my old suitors.
I was bold to come and see you.
Sir, you are welcome.
Do you lie here?
Sure your own experience will satisfy you know. Our Roman prelates do not keep lodging for ladies.
Very well. I have brought you no commendations from your husband, for I know none by him.
I hear he's come to Rome.
I never knew man and beast, of a horse and a knight, so weary of each other. If he had had a good back, he would have undertaken to have borne his horse. His breech was so pitifully sore.
Your laughter is my pity.
Lady, I know not whether you want money, but I have brought you some.
From my husband?
No, from mine own allowance.
I must hear the condition ere I be bound to take it.
Look on't, 'tis gold. Hath it not a fine colour?
I have a bird more beautiful.
Try the sound on't.
A lute string far exceeds it. It hath no smell like cassia or civet, nor is it physical, though some fond doctors persuade us seethed in cullises. I'll tell you, this is a creature bred by—
Re-enter servant.
Your husband's come, hath delivered a letter to the Duke of Calabria, that to my thinking hath put him out of his wits.
Exit.
Sir, you hear? Pray let me know your business and your suit as briefly as can be.
With good speed. I would wish you, at such time as you are non-resident with your husband, my mistress.
Sir, I'll go ask my husband if I shall, and straight return your answer.
Exit.
Very fine. Is this her wit or honesty that speaks thus? I heard one say the Duke was highly moved with a letter sent from Malfi. I do fear Antonio is betrayed. How fearfully shows his ambition now! Unfortunate fortune! They pass through whirlpools, and deep woes do shun, who the event weigh, ere the action's done.
Exit. Scene 5. Enter Cardinal and Ferdinand. with a letter.
I have this night digged up a mandrake,
Say you?
and I am grown mad with it.
What's the prodigy?
Read there, a sister damned. She's loose the hilts, grown a notorious strumpet.
Speak lower.
Lower? Rogues do not whisper it now, but seek to publish it, as servants do the bounty of their lords, aloud and with a covetous searching eye to mark who knoweth them. Oh, confusion seize her! She hath had most cunning bonds to serve her turn, and more secure conveyances for lust, than towns of garrison for service.
Is't possible? Can this be certain?
Rhubarb! Oh, for rhubarb to purge this choler! Here's the cursed day to prompt my memory, and there shall stick till of her bleeding heart I make a sponge to wipe it out.
Why do you make yourself so wild a tempest?
Would I could be one, that I might toss her palace about her ears, root up her goodly forests, blast her meads, and lay her general territories waste, as she hath done her honours.
Shall our blood, the royal blood of Aragon and Castile, be thus attainted?
Apply desperate physic. We must not now use balsamum, but fire, the smarting cupping glass, for that's the mean to purge infected blood, such blood as hers. There is a kind of pity in mine eye. I'll give it to my handkercher, and now 'tis here, I'll bequeath this to her bastard.
What to do?
Why, to make soft lint for his mother's wounds when I have hewed her to pieces.
Cursed creature! Unequal nature to place women's hearts so far upon the left side.
Foolish men, that e'er will trust their honour in a bark made of so slight, weak bulrush as is woman, apt every minute to sink it.
Thus ignorance, when it hath purchased honour, cannot wield it.
Methinks I see her laughing. Excellent hyena! Talk to me somewhat quickly, or my imagination will carry me to see her in the shameful act of sin.
With whom?
Happily with some strong-thighed bargeman, or one of the wood-yard that can quoit the sledge or toss the bar, or else some lovely squire that carries coals up to her privy lodgings.
You fly beyond your reason.
Go to, mistress! 'Tis not your whore's milk that shall quench my wildfire, but your whore's blood!
How idly shows this rage which carries you, as men conveyed by witches through the air on violent whirlwinds. This intemperate noise fitly resembles deaf men's shrill discourse, who talk aloud, thinking all other men to have their imperfection.
Have not you my palsy?
Yes, but I can be angry without this rupture. There is not in nature a thing that makes man so deformed, so beastly, as doth intemperate anger. Chide yourself. You have divers men who've never yet expressed their strong desire of rest, but by unrest, by vexing themselves. Come, put yourself in tune.
So I will only study to seem the thing I am not. I could kill her now, in you or in myself, for I do think it is some sin in us. Heaven doth revenge by her.
Are you stark mad?
I would have their bodies burnt in a coal pit with the ventage stopped, that their cursed smoke might not ascend to heaven, or dip the sheets they lie in pitch or sulphur, wrap them in it, and then light them like a match, or else to boil their bastard to a cullis, and give it his lecherous father to renew the sin of his back.
I'll leave you.
Nay, I have done. I am confident, had I been damned in hell, and should have heard of this, it would have put me into a cold sweat. In! I'll go sleep. Till I know who loves my sister, I'll not stir. That known, I'll find scorpions to string my whips, and fix her in a general eclipse.
Excellent. End of Act 2.